What is the most resilient parasite? A bacteria? A virus? An intestinal worm?
What Mr. Cobb is trying to say.
An idea.
How to plant an idea in your consumer's mind and make it feel like it's theirs. Reason why it can never be anti-consumerism with the "n" at the end, because the consumer has no idea who they are, and they need ideas to turn into identities for them to become an actual person walking around. Most people have the slightest fucking minute clue of who they're supposed to be every day. Products give them an idea, they make it feel like it's theirs, and boom, there it goes. They are the product, they are the identity. So as a brand owner, it's your job to implement an idea, make it feel like it's theirs, so they can become the identity that you want them to be. That's why I tell you guys, behavior is product. If you can make them move like your brand, you create the identity. If they could implement the idea in their head and make it feel like they already thought about this, okay, they will digest. They will start moving like your brand. I watched Inception this month for the 1000th time. I've seen it so many times, but I watched it from a branding standpoint. And in the beginning, Obbs says in the beginning, what's the worst parasite? You just watched it. An idea. As a brand owner, you have to understand the power you have with your idea, your brand idea. Your brand is an idea that you are trying to implement into the consumer, right? Like I said in the last video, the consumer is not linear. They are always moving with different emotions and identities. You are essentially implementing a thought in your consumer's mind. So they can finally understand why they are moving and ebbing and flowing, and what are all these emotions and what are all these ideas. When you implement the idea in the consumer's mind, you are showing them how to process it, how to process the ebbs and flows. A lot of us, we talk to the consumer one way. No, that's a human that you are talking to. They are always moving with different emotions, different identities. You, as a brand owner, implement the idea, right? You implement the thought in their mind in order to process the emotions, in order to process the identities in the way you want them to. So you need a world. So if your brand is an idea, the goal is not to introduce something new. It's to surface something they already felt. I tell brand owners this all the time, especially in brand therapy. I'm like, hey, brand is an idea. Your goal is not to introduce something new, but it's to kind of show them like you felt this before. You understand this. And you are giving shape to that idea, shape to that thought, right? You want to observe the consumer and you want to invade their personal space in their mind. You want to understand their patterns and that they haven't even articulated yet. They don't even understand. You want to understand why they're confident, why they're unsure. You want to understand where they get their confidence from. Where do they get their doubt from? The consumer is always ebbing and flowing. If you know what the next ebb is, it's not going to be hard for you to communicate with your consumer. But the only way you understand this, if you understand why the fuck they're doing it in the first place, why do they have all these patterns? Why are they ebbing and flowing? You have to create that inception, those many worlds stacking, in order for the consumer to go through it. So how do you do that? How do I create these stacks of worlds? Essentially, inception is when you implement an idea into someone's head and they believe they thought of it. It was their idea the whole time, even though it wasn't. In the film, in order for inception to happen, they have to go through multiple layers of the mind, the subconscious, all of these things in order for the idea to actually stick. And when that person wakes up, they feel like it was their idea the whole time. You have to take your consumer through multiple levels of the world that you are building. The world has to be built in levels so the idea doesn't feel forced. It feels uncovered. Essentially, in Inception, they are uncovering things. They are implementing and uncovering. So the person could feel like, I came up with this. I went through this whole process of uncovering, covering back up the ebb and flowing. I'm confident. I'm not confident. I'm negative. I'm positive. So what's the first level of the brand world? What's the first level of Inception? It's the head nod. You're showing them like, hey, your taste is cool, but here's something else that we could give you as well. That comparing I talked about, right? So you reflect, you show them their own taste, but you also show a different way to expand their taste. That your brand and that other brand coexist in the same world. So there's this brand called the Book of Immortality. I'm going to show you their head nod level done by one of their consumers. So it says here, you're either a Brandy Melville makeup Batgirl or Book of Immortality makeup Batgirl. That's the head nod level. So she's essentially separating herself from a different consumer. These are two different consumers, two different looks, two different vibes. So in this head nod level, they're contrasting. She's essentially saying, hey, we are more of so the consumer understands where to place themselves. The second level is the dialogue level. They start to learn how to exist inside the brand world. After you have created so many head nods, and head nods are the content that I just show, you either compare or contrast. Compare or contrast. You either separate yourself from one consumer or compare yourself to a brand. Now they start learning how to move, how to control their behaviors inside the brand, how to think, speak, and move within the brand world, right? I'm going to show you another video for the dialogue. My little pinup girl. So this is the dialogue. It's just a casual dinner. Okay, me. She's going to break down with visuals how she gets ready. This is a form of a get ready with me, but not the boring fucking GRWM on blasted on the TikTok. This shit is annoying. Please stop doing them. She's doing it in a way where it's showing behaviors. It's showing a language. It's showing a tone. Little pinup girl, honestly, my little. So you have the language, you have the tone. So you post content similar to that. That is another anchor of the world. When I say build your world, you are communicating on socials with content that is building the world out, right? So that's the dialogue. You need to post more content like this. The product's in the picture, but it's not product based. I hope we all see that this content is product focused, but in a tasteful way. Please. Last, the identity flip. The identity flip is the content y'all love to create, but you have to go through the 3 worlds, the 3 levels, the brand inception, in order for all of this content to work together to create a world that fully lands. I'm going to show you the last video example. Do you guys see how that was a breakdown of everything to get to that last video? Showed us the difference of the Brandy Melville girl versus the Book of Immortality girl. She contrasted. The second dialogue level, she showed a get ready with me. She showed what it looks like, what it feels like, what's the tone, how you're supposed to sit, how you're supposed to look. And then the last video is her fully in the identity, fully in the room, the location, the music, the girl's hair, the girl's presence, how you're supposed to fucking look, act, and be in the brand. This is where the idea fully lands. I feel like they've been morphing and creating this identity because you took them through different levels. You gave them a head nod. You gave them some dialogue. You gave them behavior. You gave them tone. At the end, you showed their identity fully dressed up. After all that time and consistent posting and a consistent strategy, they will feel like that came from them. They thought of that because they've been staring and studying and watching. Taking your consumer through brand world inception is how you move them without them feeling pushed. You're not forcing, you're guiding them. You are essentially taking your consumer through an identity crisis where the real work happens. You're taking them through different levels, the head nod, the dialogue, the identity flip. You are altering your consumer with thoughts and ideas. It only works when you connect them to something that's already inside of them. The compare and contrast, the head nod level. This only happens when you fully understand the full psyche. You cannot do this inception. You cannot understand how to go inside the consumer's mind and place your parasite unless you understand what's wrong with them. Why are they depressed? Why are they happy? Why are they going through this phase in their life? And the truth is, your consumer doesn't actually want to stay the same way. They want to evolve. They want to, but they need a safe space. Your brand will feel controlled. As they go through those inceptions that your brand create, they become a new version of themselves without losing their sense of What? Please be able to fill in that gap. Brand therapy is that. Brand therapy is understanding the consumer's levels, understanding the consumer's inception. Brand therapy is understanding why your consumer needs to evolve. What are they running away from? What are they running to? 30 days, understand how to create your own version of inception. Create a consumer who loves an identity crisis, who loves to evolve, who loves to become the idea. Brand therapy, 30 days. Let's work it out. In the description. I'll see you guys soon.
Resilient, highly contagious. Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate. An idea that is fully formed, fully understood, that sticks. Right in there somewhere.
For someone like you to steal?
Yes, in the dream state, your conscious defenses are lowered and it makes your thoughts vulnerable to theft. It's called extraction.
Mr. Saito, we can train your subconscious to defend itself from even the most skilled extractor.
How can I do that?
Because I am the most skilled extractor.